Good morning. Welcome to my channel. It's May 9th, 2016. It's a little bit after 10. It's 10:04 a.m. I want to touch up on a few things. First of all, I want to say I'm making this video not to scare anybody. I'm making this video as confirmation to what I've been talking about in my past few videos. I'm making this video so that you understand what the agenda is against the people. I'm making this video because this is no longer fiction. This is reality, and it's being thrown in our footsteps. Each and every one of us have a responsibility to be awakened and be aware of what our government is doing, not for the people, but against the people. I want to encourage everybody to seek Jesus Christ. Seek the promises that he made. Seek his justice. Because make no mistake, no crime is ever goes unpunished. Especially when you believe in him and you trust in him. In my last few videos, I go over some of these things. The last few videos I've made within the past 2 months, I go over some of these things. I am one that have been working on this for a while now. For the past 2 years, I have been trying to awaken people to the true reality of what our so-called government is doing against the people. It hasn't been an easy journey. I've been ridiculed. I've been made fun of. I've been called crazy. I've been called a conspirator. I've been called all sorts of names. But make no mistake, I don't let that influence my thought, and I do not allow that to bring me down. Because I know that what I'm speaking is truth. Because God has confirmed it through dreams and through his word. I had a dream not too long ago about America being in total darkness and in total chaos. And when I'm talking about total chaos and total darkness, America was in black, pitch black. There was no lights. There was no communication. There was no in and out of America. I've left the United States. I live in Puerto Rico. And even though Puerto Rico is part of the United States, things are not going to be felt as bad as in the United States. If you haven't left the big cities, it's time for you to pack up and start moving and start finding a better place. If you can get out of the United States altogether, that's even better. But I know that some of us don't have the resources or the means to get out of the United States. But what's coming to the United States is total chaos, total destruction. This will be the overtaking of America, as we have been speaking of. A lot of the truthers are out here, have been speaking about that for the past 3, 4, 5 years. This is nothing new. A lot of you choose to ignore them. A lot of you choose to be trolls and comment stupidity and get off the subject. As you think that you know what you're talking about, but you got no idea what you're talking about because you do not do your research. But yet you ridicule those that are trying to spread the word and trying to be productive in this society that makes no sense in this twilight zone that we live, in this mad world, in this world of unnatural things that are happening all around us. We seem to be entertained. We seem to be sleeping. We don't want to wake up. And it's really time to wake up before it's really too late. Because it's a little bit too late in the game for us to be debating and fighting amongst each other. Because we're not the real enemy. The real enemy is the government, the military, the police state that's being raised to go against the people. These suicides that are being committed on a daily basis. People that were trying to spread truth and all of a sudden have murdered their whole family. As in the case of the guy that was making Gray State. I don't believe he did that. I believe that the government had his hands all over that. Such as in the case of other people that have been spreading truth and have committed suicide. I don't believe that they were crazy. And I don't believe that they were out of mind. I believe that that was the only way they saw out. And in reality, committing suicide is not a way out. It's a one-way ticket straight to hell. The Bible is clear. The Bible is very clear on what it says about suicide. Those that commit suicide will not get to see the kingdom of heaven. Those that go against the body of Christ, which is our temple, which is our body, will not inherit the kingdom of heaven. Committing suicide is a sin. It's derived by demonic entities, by oppression from demonic entities. And you need to understand that. Let's get started because I really need to finish as quickly as possible. I'm going to be posting this link on the bottom of the description, as with other links and everything else. I'm going to start with a video that I got, somebody sent me this morning, about a wife that calls the cops on her husband because he was preparing for martial law in Massachusetts. I want you to understand that your very own family is going to turn against you. This woman was a psychiatrist, and psychiatrists are brainwashed. That's one of the reasons why I stopped, when I was in college, I stopped taking psychology classes, because they literally brainwash you. They literally brainwash you into thinking the way they think and into seeing things the way they see them, because there's no bigger agenda than the one that they implement in you for you to see, for you to snitch out your loved ones. There was no need for this woman to snitch out her husband, but yes, she did. What she got out of it, we'll never know. The problem is that martial law is coming, and a lot of people are aware of it, a lot of people are preparing, and a lot of us are paying the price. If you are preparing, keep it to yourself. Don't spread it out. Because as you're going to see in the article that I'm going to read, there's a plan for preppers, and it's not a good one. And they already know who you are. They've gotten us all down some way, somehow, in some type of database. Whether it's for spreading truth, whether it's for speaking against the government, whether it's for standing up for your rights, whether it's because you're a prepper, because you believe that these things are going to happen. We are enemy number one to the United States. The government considers us an enemy. And we are a threat to their new world order. And you need to understand that. The new world order is at the doors. Make no mistake of that. But when you expose evil, evil loses its power. Because evil thrives on secrecy. Evil thrives on darkness. When you shed light into darkness, it loses its power. When the people come together and stand up against evil, evil won't prevail. It's time to wake up. It's really time to seek the truth, however you can, while it's still there. The United States is going to be taken over. Make no mistake of that. And if you still don't believe, you need a reality check. Because those that don't believe are going to be the first ones within the first 48 hours of any catastrophe that are going to die. You will be those that are be rounded up and put into FEMA camps. FEMA camps are not a good thing. They're not to help the people. They're to exterminate you. The agenda is to kill as many people as possible. This video, I will put it on the description box. And you can see it for yourself. I don't believe her life was threatened. I believe this man believed in what he believed, and he was preparing. And this is no way to act. And you need to be careful with your own family, because your own family is going to betray you. The X-Files predicted the alien deception, the FEMA camps, and the martial law, along with the economic crash. That's hiding in plain sight. These demonic people hide in plain sight. They tell you what the plans are. They can't violate our free will. They have to tell us. We have to be awakened enough to put the pieces together and understand that nothing in the movies, in the TV shows, in the news, nothing that our artists are singing is just pure coincidence, because there are no such things as coincidences. There is a purpose. These people have a plan against the people, and you need to understand that. And you need to implement safety guides to protect yourself and your loved ones from the madness that is coming. America, it's going to be in lockdown. And nobody around the world is going to know what's going on until it's too late. Because they're going to shut all communications down. They're going to cause a big power outage where there will be no light. You won't be powering your laptop or your phones. And those that have an extra battery, communication will be taken over. There will be no communication. There will be no in or out communication. And the purge of America will begin. By the time most of us on the outside realize what's going on, it will be too late. A lot of you will be gone. And this is the reality. And I'm not here to scare anybody. I'm here to promote awareness because I'm really tired of this. I'm tired of battling with other people. And I'm tired of other people calling me a kook and calling me crazy and calling me a conspirator and telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about when it's in plain sight. And I feel sorry for those that stand in the way of those that are trying to do good and trying to expose the truth, because you have no idea what you're doing. You're condemning yourself. Not to mention, you are standing for evil. Because if you don't stand with God, you are standing with the demons and Satan himself. If you are not for God and Jesus Christ, you are for Satan. There is no in between. This is a battle for our souls. And unfortunately, a lot of us are losing the battle because we refuse to see the truth. And the truth is in plain sight. I will be posting this article of the X-Files. If you have not seen it, you will see it. The article I want to go into is from the Superstation 95. This article was sent to me by a good friend of mine's. By a really good friend of mine's. His name is... My computer's frozen right now. Uripipe 2, the number 2, and the word 2. He is a really warm person to share information. Anything that comes his way, he shares it. And this article was shared by him. And I want to give him credit because I don't take credit for what's not mine. And I woke up to this news, and it was bone-chilling. It made my skin crawl. It made me shiver. My heart was raised because I know this is true. I know this is going to happen. And it's closer than what a lot of us think. ICE agent commits suicide in New York, leaving note revealing hideout plans to round up Americans. If you don't know what ICE stands for, it stands for Immigration and Custom Enforcement. A custom enforcement officer committed suicide on the 6th of May, and he left a detailed suicide note about the plans that the U.S. government is planning against the people. And a lot of these things we already heard of. I'm going to post the comment under the description box, the article itself, and you can read it up for yourself. I'm going to read what his suicidal letter contains. You be the judge of whether America is not going to be taken over real soon. Because make no mistake, this man lost his life, but he left a vital clue. One we've heard before. There's a lot of channels out here expressing the same thing. And we need to really stop criticizing those that are trying to express the truth and make videos for the truth, because it's no longer a lie. This is no longer a conspiracy. This is the truth, and the truth cannot be sugar-coated. If you don't understand the truth, see yourself out the door and don't watch the videos. But know that ignorance and a lack of understanding will not be an excuse, because a lot of us are explaining it in different ways. I've explained it in my channel with many videos. I have gone over this. I have said this in the past. So I know in my heart this is going to come to pass. It says, the America I grew up in and cherish has been murdered by its own federal government. Our Constitution has been meaningless, and our laws politicized so badly they are no longer enforced, except for political purpose, the note says. Our elected officials are to a person utterly corrupt and completely devoid of any love or respect for the country which pays to them. Everything is about getting and keeping power and making illicit money from backroom deals. This is speaking about the government, our politicians. Okay? If you're still believing in voting, then you are being deceived. Okay? Because to be honest with you, voting is nothing but a charade. They want you to feel part of it. They want you to think that you are doing something. You are a part of something. But in reality, they control the votes. They control the outcome. Okay? Your vote means nothing to them. It goes on to say, I was hired to enforce the law to capture and deport people who come to this country against our laws. But now, if I dare to do exactly that, I face being suspended or fired because our president refused to faithfully execute the duties of his office. Instead, I come to work each day and collect a paycheck twice a month for intentionally doing little to nothing. I cannot and will not be party to this fraud, to this usurpation of the law, or the despicable politicians betraying our nation. The note continues. In plain sight, he's clearly telling you that. He mentions FEMA camps for Americans. In the suicide note, the officer revealed what he claimed are terrifying plans the Fed has been finalizing. If the American people knew what this government is planning, they will rise up and overthrow it. If I or anyone else in the federal government reveal what is coming, we would be killed anyway. So now I will reveal what I know. We in federal law enforcement have been drilling for several years to control riots and uprising from a coming financial collapse and widespread bank failure. The drills involve life-size images of American men and even women and children whom we are told to shoot for practice and to get used to it. We have been told that the economic is terminally ill and will fail in 2016. We are also told the banks are all unsolved and the FDIC doesn't have nearly enough funds to bail out depositors. We are told these events are inevitable, and it is imperative that the government survives no matter what. When the collapse takes place, detention camps created under the FEMA Rex 84 program in the 1980s to house illegal aliens whom we were going to deport will instead be used to imprison American citizens who the government feels constitute a threat. American citizens will be rounded up without warrant and imprisoned without trial for God knows how long. These camps have been equipped to carry out Hitler-scale killings, an actual purge of America's citizens by the very government which they themselves created and paid for. I cannot be a party to this. In plain sight, we've talked about FEMA camps. In plain sight, we've talked about how what Hitler did is coming to be seen again, and it will come to be seen again. There is nothing new under the sun. This man killed himself for what he believed, and that should not be taken lightly. That should be paying attention. That should be raising a red flag in your mind and should be preparing you mentally, physically, and emotionally for what's coming. Because if you're not prepared by now, I feel sorry for you. I really do. And there's nothing I can do for you. No matter what I say, no matter how blue, green, red I turn, you're just not going to listen. And I'm sorry if you are one of those. I really am. Because it's too late in the game for explanations at this point. The note goes on to say, the government knows the military will rise up to stop this, so our military is being deployed overseas and intentionally involved in foreign fights so they cannot be here to help Americans. This is why certain ammunition and weaponry has been removed from the state-level National Guard armory, and over 1 billion rounds of hollow point ammunition has been bought by the federal government. The state themselves have been disarmed of military-grade firepower, so they cannot defend themselves from the federal activists. This is also why local police departments have been militarized and provide with armored vehicles and weapons of war, the note says. When the inevitable collapse begins to take place, electric power to the entire country will be shut off, as will all forms of communication. All banks will be immediately closed. No one will be able to get any money because all ATMs will be offline. Credit, debit, and EBT cards will not function. Anyone without cash will have no way to get any. The emergency alert system will be issued to take over all broadcast stations and tell the people this is a result of a cyber attack. We've already heard this. We heard about this cyber attack. We already heard that this is our 72 hours before martial law is declared. We've been hearing this since 2010. I've been hearing it since 2010. This should not be new to a lot of you. But while the American people patiently wait things to get back to normal, the government will unleash roundup of citizens they deem militant and dangerous. With all civilian communications out and all TV and radio stations taken over by the emergency system, by the time word spreads of what is taking place, the government will already have the upper hand. Communications will be shut down. Your loved ones in other countries will not know what's going on. Only the truth seekers, only the people that know the truth, when these things take place, will automatically know what's going on. And we will do our best to open each and other people's eyes when this madness takes place. Make no mistake, this is coming. This is coming. And it's right at the door. Federal prisoners to be gassed to death. This is the part that I found most disturbing, because I couldn't really figure out how they were going to make space with the prisons being full. The prisons in America are full. There's no space. That's why there's so many convicts outside. When I read this shed bone chills up my spine, because now it makes perfect sense. Now I can really connect the dots and see the whole overall picture. When I read this, the movie The Stand came to mind, when that part of the prison that was in chaos and there was nobody left but one person. Everybody else was dead. This brought that movie to mind. And nothing is being done by coincidence. Everything is for a purpose. If you still think that that movie is just entertainment, then you really need to see it with the eyes of the spirit. That movie is very, very telling of a lot of things. Might not be the way things will play out, but it's giving you a lot of how America will fall. As you saw in the movie, Las Vegas was in total destruction and ruins. The note goes on, a wide array of very specific plans, and does so in extremely specific details about what the feds are allegedly planning. For instance, it talks about federal prisons. You have to keep in mind this man lost his life for what he believed. He wrote this. He believed in this. Don't take it lightly. Take it serious. Because it's really time to wake the fuck up. Every federal prison has been outfitted with lethal gas system. When things go bad, all prisoners in all prisons will be placed in their cells and locked down. Prison staff will depart the facilities, and a certain designated person will trigger a lethal gas system. All federal prisoners, regardless of their crime or their sentence, will be gassed to death in their cells. Once the gas clears, the dead will be removed, and the prisons will then be the prisons will then be used to house citizens who fight against the federal onslaught. So not only do they have FEMA camps, and they're going to use Walmart to incarcerate a lot of us, but they also go to empty the jails, and they're going to have more room. So can you imagine that? I've spoke about your priests, your bishops, and your church. He goes to mention what some of your priests, bishops, and others are planning for those that are in the churches. Like I stated in my last video, your churches have sold out. They're no longer for the people. they're no longer Jesus Christ's body. They are no longer preaching the true gospel of Jesus Christ. And if you still don't believe, listen to what this man that lost his life had to say. And it's what a lot of us have been saying. It's time to get out of the churches. It's time to really take this serious. Because a lot of you are going to end up in FEMA camps. In the name of obeying the government. In the name of justice. And when you wake up, it's going to be too late. Because you're not going to be able to fight them. The note makes mention about priests, rabbis, and clerics from various religious denominations have been recruited and trained, quote, well resistance. It says, so intended is the government to succeed. They have recruited priests, rabbis, and clerics from various religions to quote appropriate scriptures about obeying government. They are being trained to tell people not to fight back, and that their best hope is to pray. Our best hope is to pray, but without faith, prayer is useless. Our faith in Jesus Christ from the true believers is what moves mountains. Those true prayers. He also goes on to say and mention, the suicide note goes to a great length about Executive Order number 13603, signed by President Obama on March 16, 2012. The note detail, Executive Order 13603 about National Defense Resource Preparedness. These 10 pages document is a blueprint for a federal takeover of economics, specifically Obama's plan involving seizing and controlling of all commodities and products that are capable of being ingested by either human beings or animals, all forms of energy, all forms of civil transportation, all soluble water from all sources, health resources, drugs, biological products, medical devices, materials, facilities, health supplies, services, and equipment, forced labor, or induction, as the executive order delicately refers to, militia, conscript. Moreover, federal officials would issue regulates to prioritize and allocate resources. The note goes on to say, the suicide note touches on the subject of preppers. And you preppers that have exposed yourselves, you are in great danger. And the government already knows who you are. And unfortunately, you did this to yourself, because making aware of how to prep and showing what you're prepping is two different things. I spoke about prepping, yet most of you don't know if I'm prepared or not. The government doesn't know if I'm prepared or not, because I don't show my stuff. There's a lot of you out there that are just such a show-off, that just have to show everything that you have, and that presents a problem, because here's what the government's going to do to you. We in federal law enforcement have also been told that the government has a full database of all so-called preppers. Those people will be dealt with first by armed federal agents coming to take their guns, then their food, stocks, so food can be redistributed as the government sees it fit. This man killed himself on May 6th at 11 a.m. with a bullet. He left this note. This was his suicide note. I don't believe that this should be taken lightly. I believe this should be taken as a warning and as a sign that things are getting bad, that things are right at the door, that unless you have your faith in Jesus Christ, there is no way out. The sad part about this is this man lost his soul in the process. The good thing that can come out of this is that you all listen to his word, his last words. Pay close attention to the signs and put the pieces together. What is executive order What is executive order? What is this executive order that we signed, that the President Obama signed up? Well, I can tell you this. It's to overpower all forms of energy. It's to overpower all forms of transportation. It's to overpower all forms of water sources. It's to overpower all food and distribute it according to what they see fit. They're coming for your guns. They're coming for your food. And they're going to leave us with nothing. They're going to overpower all natural resources where we're literally going to be starving, thirsty. This Executive Order 13603, National Defense Resource Preparedness, is against the people of the United States. It was made for the people of the United States. It was made to overpower the people of the United States. The real executive order doesn't really make any sense to the normal person. The words being used sounds like, oh, this is just an order for the outside. But it really isn't. It's an order against the people. The shutdown of America, the taking over of America. It's imminent. I have an article here that says, why did Obama nationalize the U.S. food supply with Executive Order 13603? And it says here, in justifying the order, Obama wrote in Section 102 under policy, the United States must have an industrial and technological base capable of meeting national defense requirements and capable of contributing to the technological superior of its national defense equipment in peacetime and in time of national emergency. The domestic industry and technology base is the foundation for national defense preparedness. The authorities provided in the Act shall be used to strengthen this base and to ensure it is capable of responding to the national defense needs of the United States. If you like your food, you can keep it. Among other things, the order directs various federal agencies and government officials to identify requirements for the full spectrum of emergency, including essential military and civilian demand, and access on an ongoing basis the capability of the domestic industrial and technological base to satisfy requirements in peacetime and in times of national emergency, so specifically evaluating the availability of the most critical resource and production source, include subcontracting and suppliers, materials, skilled laborers, and professionals and technical personnel. In addition, the order directs government agencies to take action necessary to ensure the ability of adequate resource and production capability, including services and critical technological for national defense requirements. Acquires storable food off the grid. In addition, he notes food resources include all portable water and every imaginable agricultural product. What is disturbing, he writes in the order, potential implicates for anyone who is storing food in their homes or in specific location for consumption in the event of an emergency. The order, and indeed the 1950s Act, appeal to grant the government such authority. As Hodges note, way back in 2008, before Barack Obama was elected to his first term, the Bush administration began mass purchases of storage food, something that alarmed food sellers at the time. It is not clear what enforcement mechanism will be employed by the administration should the president declare a national emergency and order stockpile food confiscated. But such a scenario unsettling on many levels. Not only will families be disrupted and immediately dependent upon federal, state, and local agencies for subsidies, but there very likely would be violence directed towards any government agency or militant unit instructed to confiscate private food storage. Some have suggested bartering or using cash as a way to acquire storable food off the grid so as not to flag yourself like you would with any purchase using debt or credit cards. So there you have it. Obama is the most disgraceful president that the United States can have. It's the most lawless president the United States has had. And it's the president that has signed more executive orders than any president in his history. I don't know how a man that can burn the United States flag, that can speak disrespectfully of the United States, can represent the United States as a president. I don't understand how the people voted for this demonic, possessed entity called Obama. I have no idea. I really don't understand. I really don't. I don't believe that he's going to leave office. I believe something drastic is going to happen before he leaves office that's going to halt the elections, not allowing the next president that was chosen to take office. This demon is going to betray the United States. This demon that you so-called adore and put into office, it's not for the people but against the people. Like he said, we're no longer a nation under God. We are a nation under Satan himself because we lack understanding. We lack morals. We don't know the difference between right and wrong. All these agendas and all these laws that are being put into place are not good for the people. That's not what America was founded under. It serves us right for what's coming to America because we just don't listen. We choose anything and everything that speaks nice. Yes, we can change. Yes, I can bring change. Well, guess what? He's going to bring change, all right, but not the kind you and I think. This is the worst of America at its finest, and it's a damn shame. America has been hoarding free energy since the 1940s. America has been hoarding alien technology since Roswell. The reason that they hid Roswell was so that the people of America didn't realize that we had that technology, but that technology was stolen from the Nazis. If you do your research and you do your history, you will also know that Hitler didn't die. That was a clone. He didn't die. He went down to South America. You would also know that paperclip, the agenda that was set into place, known as paperclip, to bring in the Nazi scientists into America under new papers, was also true. And so on, and so on, and so on. Everything that you have heard is actually true. These demonic people are setting us up for our own fall. And they have been setting America for its own downfall, slowly but surely. I want you to know that I don't make this video to scare anybody. I don't get any pleasure of making this video. I really don't. It saddens my heart that a lot of you just don't want to wake up. That a lot of you just choose not to see the true agenda that's going on. And it's time to wake up. It's really time to wake up. It's really time to smell the coffee. It's really time to seek Jesus Christ. Get your house in order. Get your life in order with him. Accept him. Make him your friend. Make him your father. Make him your husband, your wife, whatever you are. But make him part of your life. Because the way things are going, there's no way out of here. There's no way out of this madness unless we are in our strong faith with Jesus Christ and know that we need to endure to the end because he's going to provide for his children. And just like he provided for the people of Israel and got them out, he's going to provide for us too. The children of God will not give in to this madness. The children of God are going to hide. We will go into hiding. We are going to go in underneath the mantle of Jesus Christ. And we're going to pray and ask him to have mercy on us. I'm going to be putting those description, on the description box, I'm going to be putting all these articles. You can read them for yourself. And you know what? Think about the things I've said. Draw your own conclusion. You better than anybody else know what's best for your family. I know what's best for my family. You know what's best for your family. But it's really time to wake up. It's really time to seek the truth. And it's really time to start planning and preparing for the worst. Make a plan for when there's no light. Make a plan for when there is no communications. How will you get in touch with your other loved ones outside of the United States? How would you move around? How are you going to safeguard your food? These are things that we need to think about. This is no longer fiction. This is no longer fear-mongering. This is reality. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. I pray that you guys can find the courage to really stand firm and the wisdom to understand the things that are going to come to pass, to be able to awaken those that are going to be in panic fear during those moments, because there's a lot of us that are being prepared for that. There's a lot of us that are being prepared to help those that are going to be waking up from this nightmare and are going to see reality for what it is when things get really bad. You can stay sleeping now, but trust me, you're going to get a very rude awakening. Our solid foundation in Jesus Christ is a must. It's a number one priority. Without Jesus Christ, we will not stand. Thank you for joining me. God bless you. Until next time with another video. Sorry I'm rushing. My baby's here and he's a major distraction. And I don't have anybody to watch him so that I can make a thorough video. But I hope that you get my drift. I hope that you get my point. I hope that I have come crystal clear on what's truly going on. Take care. Have a blessed day. God bless you. Keep me in your prayers as I will you. And together, we can overcome this madness. But we must solidify our foundation in Jesus Christ. Until next time with another video. Take care.